So when you can put like a 1 point stop here and say, okay, I want my 82.75. May or may not get it, but that's the primary call on a day like today if we're thinking consolidation first. And part of that, and it doesn't have to be an all-day buy. I'm not thinking it will be, but the odds call is to try to get to the half gap right here. And probably hit and run this first hour may be appropriate. Half gap is will be a key, whether or not that gets defended if we get there. You can see this program trade, really, all these white bars, boop, boop, boop. And then the rejection at the gap level, gap is 85. Perfect at the demon. So I'm not having a lot of love for the long side with a big move up today. I'm thinking more of the consolidation type. And in a consolidation, we can pull back a little bit lower and then still bounce into the close. So highest odds trade at the open really is to try to get to the half gap. And if it's too tight and you don't like the trade, you don't want to trade, risk 1 point for 2, don't. Just stay sideline. Morning after trend day says we should be able to get a buy today that works. Is the wind still blowing? But because of the egregious nature of yesterday's range, I'm not feeling a lot of love for a big up day either. Thinking more consolidation, a couple little head fakes in both directions. Pivot point I've got is 80. 15-minute chart, we're back to the pivot point. This was yesterday's pounding, right? So this was probably the primary chart to keep an eye on. So now from that bow tie over here, straight up, and now we're consolidating this range. Just as good odds for the shorts today because of yesterday's egregious nature for a pullback. Take your stop outs. Don't give back 3 points. If you're up 1.5 a point, 2 points, don't try to average in right here and say, oh, this will work. First half hour today will probably be a little tricky. And you're probably going to need re-entry a couple of times, especially on the long side today. Always love to bring it up and then catch the earlies and then catch the lates, and there you go. And the overnight range was fairly tame. Yesterday's overnight range was 13.5 points. Today we had 6.5, was half that. Two ticks missing from the half gap. I'd love to see us test this 78. That's my hope for south side test, 78 to 76. Don't know that we can get that early. You fight the odds for half gap. But sometimes the best trade, first thing is do nothing the first 5-10 minutes and see if a range gets established, and then you pick a side you like. I still like the short side, truthfully. I think a bounce will be hit today, and I don't think it'll be a killer south side. I just think the guys love to knock out a few stops and then swing it back the other way. At the open, we said let's consider the this 82.5 as a key area. And the primary reason I like that is just because I'm looking at this chart right here. It's not a hugely negative chart, but I like the idea of range trading in here. And I think just a minor blip below us is the kind of thing that catches some late shorts too. Morning after trend day says buy the lows, and if you get stopped out, you get stopped out. But certainly a pullback towards the lows is buyable on morning after trend day. Look at the tails. Look how we're spending the time right here at this 80.75. 1, 2, 3. Better odds shorting higher for those of you who like the short side. Shorting lows is tough. And certainly missing Zeke. I know he said he wouldn't be around today. I love all his commentary, but he won't be around today. His daughter, I guess, was in some competition, I guess, for skating. 15-minute chart. Right now we have this box right in here. It is 82.5 to 78. You can see it. If you like the long side but don't want this risk right now, would rather get a little better odds, then wait. Be patient. You don't have to trade. Everybody thinks you have to be in the market all the time. You don't. Looking to accumulate capital. First 15 minutes, half hour, we normally think of as trying to get to the half gap, which is 82.75. Got within 2 ticks of it. Low overnight, 79.5. Boys are head hunting that right now. Magnet is hit. Anybody that's at the magnet, if you're short, stops down. And if we get just underneath it, like 78.5 or so, that's a good place to really move that stop down and don't get carried away. $9.45. Bingo. Rain line is hit. Anybody short, make sure you pay it right there. Half gap trade is still available. Pre-market, we said we would love to get back to the 78s to 76. I'm still not feeling a lot of love for a plunge, just so you're aware. If you are buying in the 78 range, we said earlier, use a 79 stop if you were trying. If this comes back at you, just drop the trade. And if you want to re-enter one more time, you can, with the expectation that we're not going to plunge. This is a sucker play sometimes. Oh, it's a breakout, and then the trader's short down here at the low. Don't do that. And I was using the rain line for 15 Globex and the 5 RTH for the target. If you are buying, better odds just underneath today. Just this little sucker trade. And I'm still not feeling a lot of love for the long side going and pounding up. Using half gap as our resistance early. And just is a consolidation type trade after yesterday's big up move. It's not a plunge. Morning after trend day buyers. Thinking a few points and then anything you get above a couple of points in your pocket. Hit and run day.